Hello and welcome to episode 22 of my Mind, Body, Spirit series. This video I'm talking about your mind, your body, and your spirit. So I went to prepare for this video because I usually write some notes or I meditate or something like that. I sat down to meditate and they said, oh, we'll talk for you tonight. I'm making this video at night, evening, whatever. So, a question that came to mind when I was starting to make notes, they told me not to, my guides. Why all three? Why do we need to look at mind, body, and spirit? Why don't we just look at our mind? Why don't we just look at our body? And who even cares about spirit, right? Some people don't. Some people just say, I'm an atheist, I don't believe in God, or they don't believe in anything, but the fact that they are an atheist means they believe in the absence of an energy or God-like force. So they still believe in something. And I had gone live last night. So if you're ever interested, I go live every other Sunday. So last Sunday night was the 16th of February. So if you want to join in my live feeds, it's usually 30 minutes to 45 minutes. And I'm live on my Facebook page, Karen-Rose, and also on Instagram. So you can find me over there. So I go live on both of those platforms because some people are on Facebook, some people are on Instagram, so I want to encompass everyone. So last night was really interesting because I brought up the idea that, they said I'm not allowed to talk about that yet. They said, okay, we're going to talk about your mind. So they said your mind encompasses everything you've ever been and everything you will ever become. So let's say you're a large person and you had a life as a buffalo or bison. You really like the strength and the power of that. So you bring that energy into your current life right now. And so you have like these big shoulders. You might kind of have like shaggy hair, shaggy beard, something if you're male. Sometimes females have beards. Happens. So you bring those qualities into this life, but you really struggle with it mentally because you see yourself in the mirror and you think, I don't want to be that person. So they're saying to you, sit down in a meditation or get a past life regression hypnotherapy session to see why you have that energy, because they're telling me tonight, and they want me to tell you, that energy is emotional. So some emotions are tied to that energy that bring them to you in this present life. They're also saying that abundance and money is emotional as well. So if you feel that you're not worthy of abundance, you won't ever attract it. So you have to work on your worthiness. I am worth wealth and success. Or if you have guilt about money, you feel that you shouldn't have all this money because there's people starving in the world and you want to make sure that they have money, so you make sure you don't have any money. So they're saying that's a defeating prophecy because you are allowed to have wealth and abundance. Actually, everyone is. Everyone's meant to, but there's some emotional aspect that's holding you back in your mind, which translates to your heart space. So last night in my live feed, I had a woman join, and she raises rabbits for food, and she had some guilt in her heart space about that. So the message came through that she's meant to clear the guilt about killing them for food because it's not a bad thing. I channeled messages or telepathic messages for a herd of cows. They were beef cows, and they said their owner wanted to know what they had to say. So the cows said that they wanted to be beef cattle. They said it was an honor and a privilege to be on her farm because they took really good care of them. Okay? So conversely, with those factory farms, they do not take good care of the animals. The animals are in these large pens, and they're just crushed in there, and they're... If you haven't ever watched Food, etc., please watch it because you'll see what they do in these factory farms. And when you consume the energy of those animals, you bring on that energy, the sickness, the pain, the feeling, and all that. It's gross. So when you choose to have a diet with animal products, you are meant to pay attention how it's raised, okay? Because it translates to your mind, to your heart, and then comes out onto a cellular level. So they're showing me that as I talk to you about this, okay? So what you consume will either make healthy cells or will make unhealthy cells. So you choose. Sometimes we have a day where we eat fun food. And, fun food is food that's dead, but tastes really good. The nutritional quality is poor. So we have to be careful that we don't have an overabundance of that kind of food, because that leads to health defects, they're saying. They say it's okay sometimes, but when you're actually eating too much of that, you're actually punishing your body. So you have to be careful, right? So we're getting it mind, body, and spirit all together. So, I have a lot of fun talking to all of you and channeling messages on my live feeds, and I just think it's phenomenal that these messages just come through this human body, right? Who knew? I'm to talk about telepathy. So when I was 12, I was in junior high, grade 7, and I went to this really cool junior high. It was downtown in Grand Prairie, and Grand Prairie is my hometown. And, well, they said not really. I was in the country till I was 8, and then we moved to town, and I hated it at first, but then I ended up loving it, because when I went to all these different schools, because they kept rezoning, I was moving, or they rezoned where I lived, so I was going to different schools. So I went to, I think 3 different elementary schools from grade 3 to grade 6. So when I went into grade 7, all those people from all the schools were in one junior high, because at that time, Grand Prairie only had 1 junior high, so it was cool, because all my friends from those schools were there. So we used to go downtown at lunchtime and, just wander in the stores and things like that. It was really fun. And I remember when I was 12, I was walking down the street, and I thought, I would love to know what people are thinking. But that would be just my wish. I just really wanted to be telepathic. So fast forward 20 some years later, and I'm in my 30s, and it happened, and it was a byproduct of my Reiki training, level 2. So if you haven't taken Reiki training, please do. If you want to be more intuitive and you want to see things that aren't really there, you want to see energy. And if you have taken Reiki training and you haven't reached that level yet, you're meant to actually put your Reiki into practice. And they're saying that when you do distance sessions, that's where you work with the energy of something. Let's say, like in Reiki 2, you write on a piece of paper. I always do it on sticky notes, and then you Reiki the paper, and you allow the energy to increase and then subside. And then when the energy subsides, then you either feel it with heat, or mentally, then you put that Reiki paper down, and you continue to Reiki that paper until you feel that it's done, okay? So another method I use an energy ball. And I just go like this, and I feel the energy form, and I feel it. I hear in my mind what's happening, and if I'm dealing with an energy block for a client or for myself or for a pet, whatever, I will hear where that block is coming from, and by working with the energy, we release that energy block that is coming from somewhere. And most of the time, this is a karmic concern, karmic issue, because probably in a different life, you did something bad to this person or this animal, and now you've come in to balance that, okay? Make retribution for that. Create retribution for that, they're saying, illegal act. So, anyways, I was told, you know what, this is cool. Before I do these videos, they tell me what to wear. So they told me to wear these really cute little crystal earrings. They're heart-shaped. This horseshoe, hello, and then these really cool bracelets. They're called malas. So they said this is symbolism for good luck, but they said that you bring good luck into your heart space. So they say that good energy, which has translated to good luck, is, they're saying, foreboding. So it happens because you've done a good job. So you get rewarded by the universe. They're like, here you go. Here, have some good luck. That's nice, all right? And then conversely, if you haven't been doing a good enough job, you get hit by these negative retributions again. And so you're meant to work on those aspects in your life. So let's say you're having a struggle with, they're saying your hips. So your hips are symbolic of moving forward. So if you have stiffness in your hips, it means that you're not at the right pivotal point in your life. Oh, I'm loving these messages tonight. These are so cool. So you're meant to do downward facing dog because it'll open up that hip cavity, they say. They're saying that when you do stretches, let's say you're working out, and so tonight I had a really cool workout because I really just felt like I needed to get on that treadmill and just run, so I did. And then they said to me, this time when you stretch, we're going to have you stretch with yoga positions, because they said we want you to start stretching it with a purpose, because yoga is phenomenal for stretching your spine, for elevating your energy, for elongating your spine, for opening up your hips. So they specifically told me to do 10 sun salutations. So then I got to 7 and said, oh, you're done. I also had to do push-ups. So I have these, I think 10-pound weights, and they're like soft, they are covered in neoprene. So I put them on my yoga mat, because where I work out has a cement floor. And so I did 10 lady push-ups, yes, from my knees, but oh my goodness, they're tough. And they said, you're doing push-ups like a female now, but they said, we'll have you doing the real push-ups soon. So the other day when I was meditating and working, I've been doing this 21-day Reiki challenge with all the Reiki masters in my Reiki group. So if you ever take Reiki training with me and you get to the master level with me, you're allowed to join the Reiki group. So I put this challenge in my Reiki group, a 21-day Reiki challenge, and you can do this too, right? So for 21 days, you are sending energy to a block in your life. So it could be a block with anything. I'm hearing, abundance is always a good one, right? People get blocked with abundance a lot. They said that's always karmic, and understand that you have done nothing in this life to create that. You created it a long time ago. And in the continuum of your lives, you continue recreating that thing until you fix it. Learn your lessons, stop acting the same way, whatever, stop attracting the same energy, the same people. There's a saying that says, show me your friends and I'll show you your life in like 5 years or 10 years or whatever like that. So it's something to think about, because I used to have friends where I felt sorry for them. So I had these friends, and I know this isn't nice. I didn't really like them, but I felt sorry for them. Is that a good way to have a friendship? No. You're meant to have friends where you enjoy their company. You talk about ideas. Ideas. Not people. Ideas. Because ideas are, they said, when you form ideas, that's where dreams are made. And then when you're with the right people, this is cool, you create those dreams into reality by talking about them, what you will do when you get there, how. They said the how isn't important, but the what is important. I love that. So they're saying, hey, if you're a manifestor visually, start making a book. All the things you want to have in your life, like say you're dreaming of building your dream home. So start putting images of the articles that you would like in your dream home. Start thinking big, start thinking grand, because they said this year is the year of balance. This is the year to push through all your garbage. If you haven't done it already, you're going to do it now, and it's going to happen fast. And one thing I've been feeling is, where the heck is the time going? And if you listen to Cryon is a huge energy that's channeled. And this energy has never been an earth being, but he loves the people on this planet, so he's channeled through a guy named Lee Carroll. And you can go onto the Crown website and you can listen to the channel messages. Like, he has tons of them for every year. You can listen, all these messages. He said that time is actually speeding up, so that's why we feel like we don't have enough time, right? They said you still get the things done that you want to do, that you're meant to do, but you don't always get time for like everything that you want to do. That's why it feels like something, oh, that was a waste of time. So they're saying that you create your abundance in your mind. And I was watching this movie, and I can't remember what it's called, but it's about Robin Williams and they're in Cuba Gooding Jr., and it's about Robin Williams dies in this car accident, and then he's up there. And it kind of shows what happens and how his emotions are keeping him from moving forward while he's up there. My understanding is different of what happens when you get up there, because I do past life regression hypnotherapy. And at the point where you leave your body, you no longer have those emotions. You actually have no pain. You have none of that stuff anymore, because you're up there. And once you're up there in spirit, you are in a state of bliss, unless you have to go into a healing room. And energies have to go in a healing room. It's because they did something wrong, okay? So when they go up there, they have to deal with what they created in that life that they just left. So that's an understanding that you're meant to have while you live here and now, that everything that you do now they said, comes from a cause and has an event that becomes eventually the energy that you are. Yeah, so you're creating your existence as you go. And the better deeds that you do from your heart space, out of love and gratitude, make you elevate so much faster than doing things out of the heaviness of duty and obligation. Because duty and obligation is, oh, I have to go to work now. I don't want to go to work, but I have to. What if you are one of the people at work that one person really needs to see? And what if that person needs to see you to be able to have a more fulfilling existence? Do you ever think of that? Maybe your work isn't just about money. Maybe your work is about being there for people who actually need you to be a living example. And when you come from that point of view, you are actually making someone's day. My favorite thing to do is with cranky people, I just like to make them smile. Because I think, your life isn't that bad. And whenever I feel bad, I think how it could be much worse, right? I could be, I don't know, maybe I couldn't be able to see, or maybe I, lived in a country where women didn't have the right to show their legs because it happens. You can't show your ankles, or you can't show your shoulders, or, it's nice when you live in a country where you have a lot of freedoms, right? Even in Ontario, women are allowed to bare their breasts, really. I mean, that's a human right over there. I don't really think it's here yet, and what would happen if people did that? But, what I'm saying is we have it pretty good in a first world country, and so when you start feeling bad and you need to redirect your energies, your emotions into feeling better, just have memories of things where you felt really good. Like maybe you got a new kitten and it feels really good and it always makes you laugh. Or maybe you have a horse that when you go and smell that horse, to me it smells like heaven, like hay and horses and horse sweat, and oh, I just love it. Maybe you have like a little baby that just, when you hold that baby, you just feel like you're on top of the world. You see where I'm going with this? So your emotions will create your world. And conversely, well, the negative emotions will create your world too. How about this? Oh, my day is just stupid. Why is this happening to me? Can't believe it. And so all you do is you feed that energy into creating a day that gets worse and worse. So when your day starts going awry, it's time to stop and pay attention. And I say, where's this energy coming from? And what does it have to teach me? And what can I do to redirect that energy so it becomes positive? And maybe, listen to this, return to sender. Or what have I done karmically to create that type of existence right now, which is what I had to do lately because the craziest things were happening to me. So then you got to stop. They're saying stop, look, and listen. My favorite thing to do is just get into a chair and close your eyes and say, okay, where is this coming from? And then 2, what can I do about it to redirect that energy and to make a wrong a right? Because a wrong is directed to you because of what you did in a different life. Or maybe something you did now that you're treating someone in a way where you're creating boundaries, right? They don't like it. So they're going to try to get you. It happens all the time, especially with the ones you love, and then you're not giving them attention, and then they're mad at you. But I always tell people, it's a really busy time in my life right now, and I can give you this time slot right now because I have all these things lined up that I have to do. Client calls me and books me out of the blue. Boom, I'm there for that person. Or, I have children. My son always wants my attention whenever he needs something. It's right now, and I am meant to dedicate quite a bit of time to him because he does virtual schooling, and so his schooling is kind of, he is working out when does he do his best work, and he really likes to work in the evening. So then I give him some time to work in the evening to help him make sense of his assignments because he doesn't always understand, right? So we all have these boundaries that we have to create so that we can get the work done that we need to do, right? And if people don't understand that, then understand that that's not your problem. That's their problem because they're used to getting their way with you. So they are meant to respect your boundaries, and if they don't, you will know because they will be poking the bear. You are the bear, and they're going to poke you. Where is this all going? This is going with self-empowerment, they're telling me. So they're saying that you choose what happens to you in your life, and that nothing just happens to you randomly. You're meant to pay attention to the things that are happening to you and understand the more that gets delivered to you, the more you're meant to learn. It's all a big learning curve. And if you've had a life with a lot of challenges, you are, when we talked about this last night in my live thing, you are becoming exalted. You're becoming like a higher and higher vibrating being by not only having those challenges that you chose to face and some other extras that get thrown to you by spirit because they're like, you're doing a good job, we're going to give you more. You're like, why me? And then they're like, this is what I always used to say about my son when he was young and difficult. I'd say, oh Lord, why me? And all I heard was, because you can handle it. Because when you have difficult children to deal with, or a difficult spouse, and you cannot imagine one day going by without being with that person, you are meant to be with that person, and you're also meant to help them through their trauma from past lives. And that certainly has happened to me with my child. He's had so much to deal with, and I actually have gotten to a point with him where he can do the work that I do. Like in my regression sessions, I've taught him how to meditate for corrective behavior, and it's been phenomenal. He's learning a lot about himself when he can recall past lives. And I've mentioned this in other videos. Children are amazing because up until the age 8, conscious and subconscious mind are lined up. After the age of 8, it goes like this. Conscious mind starts to rise, subconscious mind stays down here. And the older we get, the more they separate. So if you meditate, you can bring them down like this. It's actually like this. But children are like this. So it's phenomenal to work with children. If you have a child that tells you things, oh, I used to be an airplane pilot, or oh, I used to be a cowboy, or they're obsessed with something, chances are that was probably one of their most favorite lives, and they're just recreating it. So children do things through play of who they have always been. So my son, up until that age of, I don't know what age, 7 or 8, something like that, he was obsessed with helicopters. So for his 6th birthday, we got him a helicopter ride in a helicopter school, and he just sat up front and just was like, meh, it wasn't even a big deal to him. But we were in the back of the helicopter, and we were so excited. It was so much fun. And yeah, he's like, whatever. It just wasn't even a big deal to him. But he loved helicopters, so he brought that energy into this life, and he just was like, had to have helicopter toys, and he had to spin things, and he just loved it. And so when you have a child that has these things, these little things, that's the life history coming in for them to play in a way that's meaningful for them. So my favorite is when children, they like to cook. My son can bake, like you would believe the cookies he bakes. He's like a pro baker. Took a couple cooking classes in school. But when he made these ginger snaps, they are beautiful. They look like they just came right out of a bakery, and they're the first ones he ever made. So our children, they can actually show us how to have passion and how to nurture our spirits, because they do what they want to do naturally. And when we understand that, we help nurture their desire to create the life that they want, because that's why we're their parents. We're here to mentor them. We're not here to make them mini us's, like mini me's. No. It kind of happens anyways, because if you do something and your child sees you having success, or they like how you go through your life, they'll take on those qualities, right? Or conversely, if they see how you go through your life and they don't like it, then they'll go the opposite way, right? So why am I talking about children so much tonight? Because they're saying to me that our children are the destiny and future of this planet, and when we pay attention to that, we create a meaningful existence for everyone on this planet, and our children help take care of other children in this world, and then it becomes a global civilization and a global economy where there are no borders anymore. And so we go into countries where we can help create a better lifestyle for those people, and I just heard, tell them about your dream. One of my dreams is to go to countries where they don't have clean water, and to help, bring in like a filtration system or something like that. And I know they did that in Mexico when my son was doing grade 9 science last year. We learned about this guy had taken this filtration system to towns in Mexico and showed them how to like they installed it, and it was like a drum with a filtration system on it, and they had access to clean water. It's something that's very simple and something that we take for granted most of the time. Not everybody has clean water here, but it's just, it's like giving to these communities that don't have access to this technology, and so we can make their lives better. So one of my dreams is to go to places to help create better, I hear better economic systems, because I have these great ideas. I'm like, oh wow, I have problems with those sweatshop, those clothing sweatshop places, like how a company will go into a country and they're like, they decide that these people are going to work in a factory for me and they're going to get paid hardly anything, and then you have to pay, tons of money for them here, and what do those people make? Not a lot. And so I would love to see people doing this, asking people in third world countries to work for them with integrity and have a really good workplace and good environment. And I mean that's just a given for us. We have things like unions and that, but I know I'm getting kind of off topic, but it's kind of like building a dream, right? And they're telling me that you are meant to build a dream with your mind, your body, and spirit. And they're saying, keep your mind nice and clean and your mental acuity clear by feeding your brain. Okay? 2, pay attention to your body and how it feels when you eat processed food and eat live food, and make sure that you eat abundantly, like throughout the day, and you don't starve your body, because they said fasting is okay once in a while, but they're saying doing that over a period of time actually eliminates something in your organs, so the tissues don't work the way they're supposed to, because you're meant to feed those healthy cells. And then 3, your spirit is so important, because it really is your driving force. It comes from your superconscious mind, and your superconscious mind is your mind that's up there, right? But you can connect with it when you meditate. You bring your conscious mind down to about the rate of your subconscious, and you open up the gateway to connect with your superconscious mind, which is your driving force. It makes you understand the difference between right and wrong, good and bad, powerful and not so powerful. They're saying good and evil, because your superconscious mind is good. Your superconscious mind is love. Your superconscious mind is up in your soul group. Not all the time. Sometimes you're off doing work, like when you do between the lives. So you have a past life, and then you have this life now, and the space between those 2 lives here, you actually had a job up there, and you were a guide with someone. When they told me to tell you about what happened to my second husband. Loved him. He died in a car accident on his way to work, and he would visit me after he died, and for me that's normal. Like, someone that you love, their energy never dies. But he told me what his job was. He told me, I was driving down to, I think I was driving to Cremona to sell in southern Alberta, to sell a saddle to this lady that had a mule, and it was an Australian saddle, and it was really had narrow withers, so it would fit like narrow withered animal, so fit that mule perfectly. And on our way back, there was a vehicle accident. A truck had hit looked like a mobile home, but it was RV. And the RV was turned over, and it was like all ripped apart and everything. And as we drove past that, it just reminded me of Ruff's accident. And I heard him say, I warned them, because it happened on a corner. He said, I warned them to be careful, and they didn't listen to me, and that's what happened, And I don't know if I feel there weren't any survivors, and if there were, they died on the way to the hospital. But he said his job, because of what happened to him, he died in a vehicle accident. It was his job to warn people to stay awake, stay alert, pay attention when you're driving, don't be distracted, don't drive if you're sleepy, and things like that. So because of what happened to him in this life, he died in a car accident like at 4 a.m. You've given that job an energy, a spirit, to warn people to take care when they're driving. So if you ever hear warnings, don't go on the road today. Say if you're in the winter and it's icy, then I don't go. Or stay home today. Take care of your health today. Or don't talk to that person today. That happens. You're meant to listen and to heed the messages, because those come from your soul group often, They come from your angels. They come from your guides, and creating a clear channel by meditating, bringing that conscious mind down, connecting with the superconscious mind, you will receive messages and you will live a better, cleaner, more wholesome life. Thank you so much for watching. Next episode, I'll be talking about your mind, and I'll be showing you some things to do to work with your mind.